Hello and welcome to Dakota Prep's video tutorial on sizing disconnects for motors, just general sizing of disconnects. It turns out, guys, it's really simple. No big deal. So where we want to go look, where we want to start this adventure is in section 430.110, right? That is in part 9 of Article 430, which is labeled disconnects, and it says rating of disconnects. Okay, now what 430.110 says is your disconnect, right? The rating of your disconnect has to be greater than or equal to 115% of the full load current rating of your motor. Okay, so if we read this question here, question 12, it says, what is the minimum size disconnect required for a motor circuit supplying a 30 horsepower, 208 volt, three-phase motor with a nameplate current rating of 82 amps? Well, the issue with this is, although it gives us a nameplate current rating, we can't use a nameplate current rating, right? Remember back to 430.6A1, that's 430.6A1. It says, hey, got to use a full load current table found, in this case, since it's a three-phase motor, in table, that's table 430.250. That's what we're going to base our size of our disconnect off of, not the nameplate rating. So, okay, so first of all, our disconnect has to be greater than or equal to 1.15 times, we go look at table 430.250, and it tells us the full load current rating for our 208 volt, three-phase, 30 horsepower motor is 88 amps. Okay, so we plug that into our handy calculator, and it tells us our disconnect has to be larger than 101 point some change. I don't remember what the decimal was, 101 and a decimal amps. Okay, so this is a little extreme here. It's a little extreme. Now the reason is our disconnect has to be at least 101 amps. That means our 100 ampere is not going to quite get it done, right? It's technically 1 amp over. Now you might be able to argue your case, but it says what it says, okay? Because it's a pretty drastic jump to the next higher standard disconnect rating, and there's nothing in the code book that tells us what our next higher standard disconnect rating, our standard disconnect ratings are, right? That's up to the manufacturer. Now there are some kind of standardized sizes, 30, 60, 100. Then it kind of, it jumps up pretty significantly. 200, 400, 800 in general, right? 1200, 2000, whatever. All we can go off of is, well, we know 100 amp, if with this question, 100 amps not going to work, what's the next higher size? If 100 amps not going to work, 82 and 90, none of these, those are certainly not going to work, right? So what's our next size that will work for us that's at least as large as 101 amps? Our technical correct answer here, bingo, 200 amp.